All right, let's talk about presentations. We're going to go way beyond just putting words on a slide. Today, we're building a complete blueprint for presentations that actually resonate, that make people lean in, and that stick with them long after you're done talking.
You know that feeling, right? You've spent forever on a project. You know your idea is a game changer, but then you get up to present, and it just lands with a thud. That awful feeling of a great idea getting totally lost in a mess of bullet points, yeah, that's exactly what we're here to fix.
So, we're going to ditch the old playbook. We're going to uncover a real blueprint for making an impact. We'll start with the psychology of influence, then get into how you structure your story, design your visuals for the human brain, and finally, how to deliver it all in a way they'll never forget.
First things first, we got to talk about the foundation. Here's the secret. The most powerful presentations are not about dumping information. They're built on the science of influence. It's all about how you make your audience feel.
So what do we even mean by influence? It's not some kind of dark art or manipulation. It's a skill. It's about understanding that our brains have these little shortcuts, these predictable ways of making decisions. And when you tap into those, your message becomes incredibly persuasive. So how do you actually do it? Well, here are 3 absolute pillars you can start using right away. First up is liking. It's simple, really. We're way more likely to say yes to people we like. So find that common ground. Next, social proof. We're social creatures. We look to others to figure out what to do. So show them that other people are already on board. And finally, scarcity. We just want things more when we think we can't have them. Frame your idea not just as a good idea, but as a unique, can't-miss opportunity.
Okay, so now that we've got that psychological foundation laid, let's move on to the actual architecture of your message. You can't just wing it. A great presentation needs a rock-solid, logical structure, and we're going to build it from the top down.
Now, this next part might feel totally backward. We're always taught to build our case and save the big conclusion for the end, right? Well, throw that out. The most effective presentations start with the answer first. Why? Because it grabs your audience's attention immediately and tells them exactly why they should listen. This is the heart of what's called the pyramid principle.
And this is exactly how it works. You start at the very peak of the pyramid with your one core message. If your audience only remembers one thing, what is it? Then, just below that, you have your key arguments that answer why or how that top message is true. And then, at the very bottom, holding everything up, is all your support. The data, the facts, the proof. It's such a clean, logical structure that it's almost impossible for your audience to get lost.
Okay, so you know what your arguments are. But what order do you put them in? Turns out, the best way to arrange your story depends completely on who's in the room.
And this table is your cheat sheet. If you've got a friendly audience that's pretty much already on your side, use the grouping method. It's direct, it's clear, it's easy. But if you're walking into a room full of skeptics, you need the argument structure. It carefully builds your case, piece by piece, leading them logically to your conclusion. The takeaway, know your audience before you build your story.
All right, our story structure is solid. Now let's talk about the visuals. And this is so important because this isn't about making pretty slides. It's about designing slides that work with the human brain, not against it. The big concept you need to know is something called cognitive load. Think of your audience's working memory like a computer's RAM. Every single thing on your slide uses up some of that RAM. Your job is to get rid of all the unnecessary stuff, the clutter, the confusing graphics, the walls of text, so they can focus their mental energy on your actual message.
And just look at the difference this makes. It's incredible. This chart shows that when you have slides with tons of clutter, high extraneous load, your audience's ability to actually learn is way down. But when you simplify, when you create slides with low extraneous load, their capacity for learning just skyrockets. Less clutter literally makes your audience smarter.
So, how do we get there? It's all about adopting what's called the presentation Zen approach. The philosophy is simple. Instead of asking what you can add to a slide, you ask what you can take away. You want a super high signal-to-noise ratio. Stick to one idea per slide and embrace empty space. It's your friend.
Want to hear a really provocative rule? This comes straight from TED. No more than 40 words total across your first 10 slides. And don't use bullet points. I know it sounds crazy, but it forces you to be visual, to be concise, and to let your words, the ones you're speaking, do the heavy lifting. Your slides are the billboard, not the full-length novel.
And that brings us to the final piece of the blueprint, delivery. Because you can have the most brilliant structure and the most beautiful, clean design, but if the delivery falls flat, the whole thing falls flat.
This is where you bring your story to life.
And for a delivery that really hits home, I want you to burn this number into your brain.
3. The rule of 3. For whatever reason, our brains are just wired to love things in threes. It's the smallest number that creates a pattern. It feels complete, it's satisfying, and it's so much easier for people to remember. It's like a little cheat code for memory.
And speaking of threes, Ted has 3 secrets for an amazing delivery. First, you've got to be emotional. Facts are great, but emotion is what moves people. Tell a personal story. Show your passion. Second, be novel. Teach them something new. The brain craves novelty. Give them a, whoa, I never thought of it that way moment. And third, be memorable. You can do this by keeping it short, like Ted's famous 18-minute rule, and by using language that paints a picture in their minds.
And you know, if you really want a crash course in being concise and memorable, you should check out a style called Pechakucha. It's awesome. The rule is simple, 20 images, and you only get 20 seconds for each one. There is no time to ramble. It's the ultimate creative constraint, and it forces you to be crystal clear.
Ultimately, all of this comes down to one thing: connection. You want to practice your material so well that you're not just reciting it from memory. You want it to feel like you're having a conversation, not giving a lecture. Just be present, be authentic, and talk to the people in the room, not at them.
So let's pull it all together. Here's your blueprint. You start with a solid foundation, built on the principles of influence. Then you build the framework, your core story, using that pyramid structure. And finally, you add the finish, with clean, brain-friendly design and a delivery that really connects.
So there it is. You have all the pieces now: the psychology, the structure, the visuals, and the delivery. You have the blueprint.
The only question left is, what unforgettable story are you going to build with it? We really hope this gives you the tools and the confidence to go out there and make your next presentation absolutely amazing.